all yummy. So we're just going to do a bit of sanding now. We've set the sander up. Now when sanding timber, don't know if any of you know, everyone does know, mind you should know these things anyway. Using the right pad for the right material is the best way to get the most out of your sanders. Now when dealing with wood, Festool recommends the Rubin pad. Now these are designed just to sand wood, they are for nothing else. You can use it on something else, but it's not recommended. That's what Festool says. And obviously then you've got the other papers then for sanding things like paint and all nasties and stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead now and sand this joint. I'll see if I can bring the camera in. I will show you the joint that I've created on this workpiece. As I know, we are making a windowsill, so I'll just move this in now. Right, so there we are. Hope you can see. That's the timber we're going to sand. Obviously, we're going to be using the Rubin paper, as we said. That's designed for wood. So I'll just get my sander hooked up now, and I can go ahead and sand this then. I'm only going to sand it flat. I've got the Rotex out for this. It's a great sander for this sort of work. They obviously come in different sizes. I think this is the 150, if I remember right. I've had this sander 5 years now. It doesn't miss a beat. So we're just going to go ahead now and sand this into one. They do look completely different. This piece of oak, this is the only piece I had lying around. It's only my house. So we're going to go ahead and sand this now. Obviously when sanding you don't want to stay in one place too long, because obviously you can cup the workpiece where you're sanding, so it's always best to keep it moving. I know we like to keep it in the one place and get rid of any lip if you have a lip, but it's only very mild. This is on here, it's hardly nothing. So I'm just going to move these clamps down now, and I'm going to make sure then that I'm moving my sander up and down the workpiece, making sure it's staying nice and flat then. That's all it's about when you're sanding, nothing else really. Now this sander, I've just got it in the standard sanding mode. Now a lot of people like to call this other mode the beast mode, because when you're holding it with one hand it will just fire off. It can still fire off using two hands, mind, because it is a beast. But I'm just going to sand this now so it's nice and flat. I don't need to put any glue in it. It looks nice and tight. It's not looking too bad. But like I said, this is going in my house, so I'm not too bothered by it. So I'll just go ahead now and finish sanding this. So that's come up quite nice now. It's nice and flat. It is completely two different colours of oak, mind, but we don't mind that because when we oil all of this, I think it's still going to look a nice sill for the house. So we're going to go ahead now and sand the rest of this. I'm just going to move the camera. So we're going to move the camera now just so you can see the sanding process. Obviously we're using the Rotex sander on this. It's a great sander for this sort of work. It's very fast at what it does. Don't get me wrong, you can use a small sander if you wish to do this part of the job, but I bought this years ago for sanding resin tables and everything, and it absolutely eats through the work, so that's why I stick with this sander when I'm sanding big pieces. But it can tire your hands out using this Rotex sander, and you have got to hold on to them with dear life. So be prepared when buying one and sanding with them. They can tire you out quickly. But I've used this sander for hours, and it just keeps going. Something playing up there, that switch seems tight. As you can see, you're probably not watching now because obviously I've been doing a lot of sanding for 5 minutes. But as you can see, look, that's 5 minutes of sanding on there. There is nothing on the pads. Now, I put a short up the other day just showing what happens is when you use dust extraction, obviously with the sanders. But look at that. She is clean as a whistle. And this one piece of paper will sand 10 of these all day long. And it'll still have plenty of life left in it. So we're just going to spin the workpiece around now. I'm going to go ahead and sand the other side. And then we're obviously going to get set up. Well, not obviously. We're going to get set up. And we're going to start today. I'm going to do a couple of lives, I'd imagine. We're going to start then on making nice routed grooves in here. And we're going to sink some copper bar in there. But the problem I've got with a copper bar is it doesn't like to stay flat. So I'm going to have to make something to put on top of the bar, to clamp it, to let it all set up. So I'm going to go ahead with that later on. So I'm just going to get this sanded now. I might as well leave the live running. Watch if you want to watch. Don't watch if you don't want to watch. But I'm going to crack on with this. Right, so it looks like we've sanded this. I'll just have a look, 2 secs. Right, so it looks like the oak is sanded. For some odd reason, I got this light bit of yellow in by here. I'll bring the camera into view to show you now. I don't know what it is on the oak. I couldn't tell you what it is, but I'll just move this over so you can see now. Let me move that. Let me get the camera and I'll show you then. Can you see this in here? See? We've got some yellowing going on there. I don't know what it is. So I'm going to try and sand that out now. That's my next step. Get that sanded out of there. And then we can set up then, ready to start the routing with the copper strips that I'm going to install on this cell. Now, there's no one on yet. So I think we'll stop this.